Hi everyone, this is Umberto Mattei, solution designer at Mindflow, and today I'd like to show you how Mindflow can help security operations, in particular by using swarms of agents for alert analysis. In this space, what we typically see is an overall alert fatigue. We receive many different alerts, and we have to quickly make sure we distinguish the important ones from, for instance, some false positives. We also have in this space, once again, many different tools that can give some useful information, but it's really difficult to juggle between all those different tools in order to have a full picture. So over here, the idea is to have a swarm of agents that can be used as a tool for security alert analysis. And the idea is to be able to have faster analysis and also quickly discard some alerts that might not be relevant for us. And at the same time, having really the auditability of everything that is done by the system and a clear follow-up action plan for alerts that are relevant. So what we are doing in order to launch this is really to contact our main agent, which is Neo, the incident responder, and just query it by about a specific, for instance, email address, like the admin at mindflow.run. And the idea is to analyze for a potential breach. While the agent does that, let's go and have a look about at the structure of the specific agent. So the first agent that we call has the role of cyber analyst. The idea is to be able to supervise security operations and to call the appropriate sub-agents in order to do its job. So we have, of course, to understand, contextualize the security events. You have to take they have to take decisions about which agents to call and why, and then correlate all the different results and decide on the action plan and produce a report of the investigation. This should be actually shared, and if this is a relevant incident, the idea is to be able to delegate the creation of a new ticket to another agent that actually does so. We talk about operating principle. We talk about how the workflow for investigation should be working, what's the plan we actually share, and the way of reasoning and assessment. What's interesting is we can also state the output format so that it will fit to our standards and the different constraints. In order to do its job, this main incident responder agent will use actually 4 different sub-agents. One more related to communications, to be able to communicate over chat, for instance. Another one to check the activity on Google accounts, for instance, the Google administrator. And we have a threat intelligence expert. That's where we actually use multiple integrations in order to do the enrichment of this request. And finally, we also have a ticket creator to create a report. If we can go and look into a couple of those sub-agents just to have a look at how they actually work. One that's interesting is related to threat intelligence. As we say, the scope is really collecting factual external intelligence on IP addresses and email indicators. And we use multiple sources here, right? Over here, we do so by having an agent structure that is similar to the one we saw before. We explain the different tools that are available. These are the integrations that the sub-agent will have to use in order to do their analysis. And we will also explain how this analysis is carried out, what's the output format, and what are the constraints. These are the input details that we use for our analysis that are passed by the main agent that we just saw before. Over here, the interesting part is really the tools, what kind of tools we can actually use. As a reminder, with Mindflow, we developed a technology that is capable of generating connectors for any application that exposes a REST API and whose REST API is documented. This helps integrating and matching 100% of the application stack of the company. And we don't stop there, especially when it comes to security. Over here, if we have, for instance, we take, for instance, the Abuse IPDB integration, we will see that we do have multiple different operations we might be able to select. And we have to whitelist those operations in order to make sure the agent only performs the calls that are relevant to the task, and that does not perform any call that to us is not really relevant, or that could pose the operation of the could pose a threat to the company. Over here, for instance, we have 45 different endpoints we could be able to call, but we decide that we call only a few of them, the ones that are relevant for the job of the subagent. And that will allow us to have some relevant context and provide extra security when using those agents. Another subagent that is quite interesting is also the ticket master. Over here, we really want to make sure that we create a relevant ticket that is compliant to a Jira project and an issue type, and to be able to, so that someone will get this ticket assigned and will be able to pick it up and perform relevant actions. And that is done if a relevant alert is found out. That's where we really gain time and we really focus on what's important, and we already have a base of what should be done. Over here, once again, we have the right format, we have the timeline, and I'm going to show you also an example of how an analysis looks like. So we would have as an output the ticket created by this agent. We have an incident overview, we have a timeline of the events related to the incident, and we have some indicators that we actually found thanks to the other agent, the CTI expert. And we have a summary of what's been happening. We have the evidence for that explanation, and we have the actions that were taken by the agent itself in order to make those claims. So we have a full explanation of what's happening and the reasoning process of the swarm of agents. Over here we have some things that may be unknown and that the agent couldn't necessarily retrieve, and those are the points where the human reviewing this ticket could actually go and look into in order to complete the analysis. And then we have the suggested next steps, so that we really have an actionable result in order to treat those relevant information. So with this, we really showed how a specific swarm of agent can actually simplify the analysis of security events and filter out the ones that are more relevant and produce an initial analysis, a potential action plan that can actually help reducing that alert fatigue and orchestrating multiple integration challenge many security operation teams have. Thank you. Maybe we can have a look at the answer